Hey there, toy collector friends and Transformers fans alike. Welcome back to the channel. I am the time-travelling toy collector, and this is the Buzzworthy Bumblebee twin pack from Transformers the movie, the animated movie that is. And as you can see, this is part of Studio Series 86, but it's the Buzzworthy Bumblebee packaging. And this is a pack that has created a bit of a no pun intended, a bit of a rumble, because it does pose a few questions, and I don't know what the answers are, but I'm going to pose some of those questions myself, I think, as part of this video. We can postulate the answers in the comments if you like. Before we get started, thank you for tuning into this video. If you enjoy it, if it's useful, if it gives you an insight into whether or not you're going to buy this or not buy it, then please like the video. It really helps the channel. And also, if you could subscribe to the channel, that would be even more fantastic. It's a small click for you, but it really is a gigantic leap forwards for the channel and helps me no end get the toy collecting vibe out there, both into the community and into those people who are just looking and dipping their toe in or interested in some of the toys that are out there, old ones and new ones alike. Anyway, this is a nice combination of old and new alike, so a fabulous jumping on point for people. So here we have the Studio Series 86 Prowl and Ironhide released together in this format. Ironhide is a re-release of a very recent Studio Series 86 figure, whereas Prowl has not yet been released in a standard format for Studio Series 86. Now, there are reasons, because of a previous packaging, dual packaging, why Ironhide and Prowl together make a lot of sense, and that's great. But what I love about this, and I'm just going to bring the before we start talking about the packaging and everything else, the packaging is the smallest part of what we're going to look at, but these guys are heavily, I'm being kind by saying battle damaged. Anyone who's seen the Transformers the movie, and you know, it's just celebrated quite a milestone, so if you haven't seen it yet, please see it soon. But chances are, if you're collecting this range, the Studio Series 86 range, you've probably seen it, so you know that on board a Autobot, Shuttle, Prowl and Ironhide become damaged during an attack. And what we've got here is those two figures in their battle damage mode. And I'm going to get them out the box in a moment, so don't worry about that. But so question one is, we've already had Ironhide. We assume we might get a Prowl. We know kind of that we're going to get a Ratchet, using much of the Ironhide mould, but with some slight retooling and definite recolouring. But I'm wondering if we're going to actually see any more of these battle damaged figures, because there are some more battle damaged figures that Hasbro could put out from that movie. Goodness knows there's a lot they could put out, some very significant. So I find that a really interesting question to start with. This set really poses that question, because in a recent fan stream, Hasbro Pulse, the guys on Hasbro Pulse did say that if that at some point they will get around to doing, they anticipate getting around to doing all of the characters in Transformers the movie, the animated movie, and this just seems to be an extended take on that, by actually going, yeah, that includes when they're looking fit and healthy, and it also includes when they've been trashed by an invading force of Decepticons. So I wasn't expecting that to happen, but I'm kind of here for it, because it's macabre, but it's kind of great, and it also means we don't have to damage our figures to recreate that, which again, if you were around in the 80s playing with your toys, you may have done some, battle damage, because we didn't have battle damage figures. The only thing with us and our battle damage figures was, once they were battle damaged, we couldn't really repair them. So that's another issue. Also, something I'm going to point out, and some of you will have noted this already, this is Studio Series 86 figure 20, which is Prowl, and 24, which is Ironhide. So there's 3 figures between these two that have not been released. Now, I don't I don't get why, and I don't get why, so maybe I'm being a fool, and you can tell me how foolish I've been in the comments below. But from a presentational point of view, and this might be playing into some deep-rooted conditioning that I don't even know I have, if I were going to put these on display in order, why would you not make Ironhide Studio Series 86 21? Because then you've got Prowl as 20, Battle Damage Prowl as 20, so Battle Damage Ironhide as 21 would make perfect sense. They can sit, I'm hoping to goodness they both fit on the diorama that I'm sure will be in there. But it just strikes me as a peculiar choice. And also, those of you who've seen some of my previous Studio Series videos will know that this isn't the first time there's been a bit of a number jump in their Studio Series 86 line. There are, you know, some other mysterious omissions. Now, I don't know why that is. I don't know if that's... I don't know if anyone spotted any leaks and has commented on it somewhere, but I haven't found anyone doing that. So if anyone's got any idea why they're jumping over certain figures and what the logic is by not having these as 20 and 21, please let me know in the comments. Anyway, moving on to the product in hand, because that's enough conspiracy speculation. The window is open, so you actually get your hands on these figures were you to be so inclined. I got mine sent very quickly indeed through by In Demand Toys here in the UK. They're an excellent company. So if you do get the opportunity to support them, I would really encourage it. They haven't paid me to say that. That's just me. I've been a regular customer. Their customer service has been excellent. I've seen them both in the flesh at conventions as well as using their online ordering options. And in both instances, they've given me exemplary customer service, as I know they have for others. So that's just me saying that. It's not a paid for plug. It's just my opinion. Other people's experiences may have varied, so I can't comment or speak to that. Excuse me. So, on the front of this, as I say, it's Buzzworthy Bumblebee, so I don't know a huge lot about... I don't collect the Buzzworthy Bumblebee range, but I missed out on Cliffjumper, who was a Studio Series 86 figure that was released through Buzzworthy Bumblebee, and I'm on the lookout for that. So I'm at a convention in London early July, so I'll be keeping my eye out in case anyone's got one of those on the shelf. There's not much to talk about the artwork on this, so I won't really. It's just the two figures, and at the back we've got the product shots. And the first thing that jumps out to me, now at the point that we've done this, I've jumped myself. I've taken a leaf out of Hasbro's book and jumped a little bit forwards, so I haven't yet put my Ironhide Studio Series 86 Ironhide in front of the camera. But one thing I am aware of is that he didn't have this yellow stripe. It was a key thing that's been mentioned by many other collectors and toy reviewers, that he didn't have the yellow stripe, and it probably was down to the fact that it would be complicated to have it with the mould, etc, you know, reasonable reasons. Well, apparently those reasonable reasons complete an utter balderdash, because here he is with it. So, and you can even see it when you look through the window in the thing. So it was more than possible. I don't know why they didn't do it. So irksome, Hasbro, irksome. But never mind. Inconsistencies within the animation were quite common. So maybe that's their gimmick with the Studio Series 86. They're also saying, yeah, we had some inconsistencies in the animation, and these are animation accurate, therefore there has to be some inconsistencies. Okay, maybe that. Maybe I'll buy that. Maybe I won't. But at this stage in the game, I'll buy anything as long as someone can explain to me what's happening with the numbering. Right, I'm going to shut up. I'm going to get these two out of the box and get them set up in front for you. Hopefully really swiftly. So to quote a certain Junkion, please don't touch that dial. So here they are out of the box, and a couple of instant things to acknowledge. They come in an inlay card, which is similar to the diorama, which I've taken out and set up at the back there. It looks very nice, and it's big enough for the two figures, and that's fantastic. They are tied in, as you saw in the intro section, with the string, and below their feet, out of shot of the box, are these sort of, I've got the remnants of it here, these little sort of paper packages, for want of a better phrase, ridiculously well taped together, making it almost impossible to open, in fact. But one of the taping of the right hand side had, and I'm sorry Prowl, I'm going to move you for a second, had actually caught, you might be able to just see it, the way it had been put into the box. When I removed it, it took off a bit of the base. Now I've managed to salvage, because I'm sad, like that, I've managed to salvage the bit and hold it into place. And once I'm finished with this, I'm actually going to try and tape it down so that the yellow is repaired as far as possible. But I thought that was a little bit unnecessary and a little bit careless. And what's worse for that that point is they weren't even the right way round. So the stuff that was taped below Prowl was the accessories for Ironhide. And what was taped below Ironhide were the accessories for Prowl. So go figure. Additionally to the accessories, you can see there was some clip-on lights for Prowl's vehicle mode, which I have installed, and this lovely array, and I do love these colours. It's because they're Decepticon colours, I suppose. I love the purple. These blast effects, which can therefore be used both in terms of the weapon systems, but also in terms of their bodies, so you can actually attach them where they've been injured, and we'll have a look at that before we turn them into vehicle mode shortly. But yeah, so here we have I think it's Voyager class Ironhide and Deluxe class Prowl, and they're beautiful figures. They're beautifully posable. If you've already managed to get them in hand, you know already how beautifully posable they are. I'm going to just zoom in just so it's easier for you all to if I can just zoom in, bear with me 2 seconds. For some reason I can't. Oh, there we go. It didn't want to. It was being temperamental. But yeah, so here we have Ironhide, and you can see that face sculpt is just it's just ingenious, because he's already going and the chest sculpt is really phenomenal. They've made this conscious choice. So if you've got the Ironhide that already came out, I'll lift his head slightly so we can get some light on it, because I'm conscious it's very shadowy. That it was in that sort of translucent blue plastic, which was, you know, nice, but it does add an element of flimsiness and danger to the figure. So they've redone it, as you can see across all the panels here, with this blue sort of, if you like, animation accurate colour scheme, which has also enabled them to do this wonderful recasting of the chest unit, where you can see that fantastic robot detail with a great big gaping hole. And I don't know which is the best one to put in. Possibly that one. We may even be able to do like a double. There you go. So he's been, yep, he's taken a real chest blow there. Oops, that's not going to end well, probably, for poor old Ironhide, but we'll take that out for now. Yeah, so he has all of the required sort of and expected detailing. I love that we've got these joints here that also are infilled, so they don't just have these cutaways. Unfortunately, the same can't quite be said of the ankle, because that just kind of cuts away, as you can hopefully see there. But it does give him that element of posability. We've got knees, we've got thighs, we've got waist, we've got head, we've got everything that you're accustomed to, and we've got these two blasters as well. Now, going around the surface, again, I've said before, most of the Studio Series stuff has some excellent surface detailing, and this figure, not too dissimilar at all. There's not really much hollowing here for us to be worrying about, or too much waffling. Back of the arms, the forearms, a little bit, I'm afraid, but again, that's really to do with transformation, and I'm not really sure what more they could have done for poor old for poor old Ironhide, but you know, fingers crossed he'll make it through. I'm going to leave him there and bring Prowl to the fore now. Again, we've not actually had Prowl released in Studio Series 86 yet. So I'm optimistic that this heralds an intact Prowl, if you like. Again, they've opted for this animation accurate-ish teal colouring. Possibly would have been nice if there'd been some transparent plastic for the headlight elements, but then equally that may have been more problematic to build in some of that damage that you might be just able to see there. And you can see that chest damage is gone. Again, Prowl, another fantastic face sculpt of shock and awe as he's taken out. Unfortunately, there's no, and I very much doubt a third party will do this, but somebody mentioned it in my comments on Instagram when I posted that I'd got the box set had arrived. Is there something we can do to have the smoke coming out of poor old Prowl's eyes after he takes that chest blast, which I thought was a bit harsh, although it did make me laugh. So let's just see. I've not done this yet because I've literally just taken them out of the box. So that's a bit wussy. It fits on there, but it's not really very good. It's a bit of a wussy link. Let's see if this is more appropriate and holds on. Well, maybe. Let's just see if he looks a little bit like he's going, oh, that's not good. Yeah, it all feels a little bit not great, if I'm honest. I can't really see. I'll try this one again on here. One I used on, that's a bit better. But again, it's not the best. You can sort of feel that is not going to hold there too much. I think there's 2 in 1, so it might be I can separate these out and I can do something a bit more the thing. Yeah, I think it's the nature of the peg is not great for that, so we'll see, which is a shame considering the key selling point for these sort of battle damaged figures, as far as I can see, is that they are going to look battle damaged, and part of that is that they can take the blasts. So let me just readjust slightly there for you all. There you go, that's them on there, the diorama. And you can see the shuttle. I mean, it's really nice. Again, it would make an awful lot more sense to me if we had, 20 and 21. I just don't know why we've gone, oh yeah, it's 20 and 24. That I don't understand that. I'm sure it's me. Someone out there will know the reasons for this. So if you do know the reasons for this, as I said, do let me know in the comments below. But I don't want to keep sort of harking on. It's the class of the figure is the class of the figure. The backs of the legs are a little bit disappointing, But again, we're not really looking to we're not going to look at the back of the figure, and this isn't exactly a masterpiece item. It's a deluxe class figure. But I think part of the problem, of course, and this is the curse of living in modern times, is we're being so spoilt by Studio Series at the moment, and the quality and the animation accuracy and some of the really exceptional engineering that we're seeing, that when we get something that may be, perfectly acceptable in many respects, but for us feels a bit subpar, then yeah, we're a bit all over poor old Hasbro for that. And actually, well, if they put more engineering into the back of Prowl's legs, maybe he needed to be a Voyager class figure, and then maybe his price point would go up, and maybe there's manufacturing issues associated with that, and the saleability. I don't know. I don't work for them. And also, to be perfectly honest, I'm pretty sure people would buy this. If you're a collector collecting this set, you're gonna collect these 2 figures, so it going up by $10-15 probably not going to be the problem that they could have anticipated it being, in my opinion. But it's not my place to judge. It's just my place to observe and comment on what is before me. And what is before me, really, frankly, are 2 pretty decent figures. Ironhide absolutely is. Prowl absolutely is again, but with the caveat that it's a deluxe class. He's got some Very, very hollow back of the legs. And who knows, maybe his, if we work on the assumption that this will be retooled into a more pristine version of Prowl, from the film, as he appeared prior to the Decepticon attack on the shuttle, they may do a little minor retooling of that figure, hopefully more than they did between Scourge and the Sweep. But yeah, so fingers crossed on that, and we'll see. And again, yeah, absolutely, if we do get some smoke coming out of Prowl's eyes, I will be one of the first to get the upgrade kit, just so I can show you what that looks like. So here we have them in their robot forms, and I think, yeah, they're pretty good. They're very sturdy figures. They stand up to the rest of the range. They look good on their diorama. For those of you who don't know, I don't do the transformations on camera because A, I get paranoid that I'm going to break something, so it takes me way too long. I don't have the confidence or the skills necessarily to do what so many other great reviewers do when they're online tutorials. So I do. If you want to go and watch those, by all means do. I absolutely encourage it. I watch it myself sometimes when they go, I don't understand these instructions. This is not doing. These parts do not do what these instructions say they do. And so I go and try and find someone that's already published a transformation tutorial, like MGO, for example, pretty good. Prime versus Prime, also pretty good. Many people out there. So, you know, there are, if you want those, I'm not that, they are. Go and watch them. I will, however, tell you what I think of the transformation process, having lived it, honestly. And you'll also get a chance to look at the vehicle modes in approximately, for you, 0.5 of a second. So don't go anywhere. And as if by magic, here we are with them in their vehicle modes. And I really like their vehicle modes. Getting them into their vehicle modes I liked a bit less, I won't lie. It took longer than I thought. Not because the engineering was problematic, but it's again, and I'm sure it's my first reading of the instructions compared to them being quite stiff figures, but there was some compression issues for me around getting the sort of the interior components, the leg section, certainly of Ironhide, to compress nicely up to allow the front section of the van to actually connect. So from that perspective, it was a bit tricky. However, with a bit of squishing and manoeuvring and fiddling, it absolutely starts to work. And lo and behold, here we have him in his slightly. Why you would transform him when he is going to look like that is beyond me. But here he is. Again, it was as hurried as I dare do it to try and see how long it would take me. It took me about 10 minutes or so, unpracticed. But here he is with his yellow stripe, you know, and he does. You can see there's a little bit of leg bend visible below the waterline, if you like. But actually, it doesn't interfere with his rolling at all. So he's perfectly capable of rolling along there, as you can see, as is Prowl, actually, while I'm doing it, although he's a little bit tighter here, and I'm also not entirely convinced with his transformation either, because I had the similar issue in terms of leg compression. The instructions, which you get the nice orange Buzzworthy Bumbleebee instructions booklet, but yeah, he's a real one. You know, he does not want to compress. For me, anyway, my copy. But again, it's the first time I've transformed him, so it could very well be my doing, my misreading of the instructions, etc., etc. So again, we'll do them the other way around now. I've got Prowl in my hand. In police car mode, he looks really, really good. Again, they've done away with the translucent plastic and replaced it with the painted blue, which is far more in keeping with the animated series. Although I would, as I mentioned, perhaps in the actual studio series issue, it would be nice to see. By that I mean proper, as in not with his chest bust open. It would be nice to see some translucent plastic used, at least for the headlights, just for that detailing. But I'm more than happy with the windshields being that colour. Views from the back, it's very nicely done. You don't get a sense of feet hanging out of the back, which can sometimes be a problem with some of the transformations that we've had in the past. So all in all, I think it's a lightweight vehicle. I'm turning it over so you can see what it looks like inside. But to be honest, no one's looking at this. You're looking at this, and there's some lovely engineering. And again, both of them engineered really well. The starting of the transformation for me was great for both of them. In fact, Ironhide, who I've not transformed yet in the other version, because the first time I do it is for the review, although now I've done him for this, I'm not sure how I'll approach that. It was a fantastic start, really great engineering, really inventive around the chest, around the arms, really good, really lovely. And then the leg section and the completion of getting this all to compress down, it does start to become a bit of a panic and a bit of a frustration. Now, something I will say here, and I'm not sure whether or not it comes across on the video itself, but there were some issues about the paint colouring, the red not matching on the original release. Some of you may have heard other people talk about that, or indeed have had it. I'm looking at this one, and again, I've got some quite bright light shining down on it, and I honestly don't think it looks too bad. I don't think there's much of a difference between the paint and the plastic, which is quite impressive, actually. We do have these window panels along here, and that's only half a panel, so I don't really know where they've done that. They have given us the rear, which, if I remember rightly, isn't the case on the actual Studio Series 86 version. But yeah, from an all-round perspective, again, you wouldn't look at him upside down. That's where I store his guns as exhaust pipes. They can also fit onto these tabs here at the top, and they can either face forwards as weapons, or you can have them facing backwards so they look a little bit like, I can't remember who said this, somebody else whose reviews I really rate, but apologies, I can't remember who you are, said it looked like a roof rack by having them the other way around, and I thought that was really quite canny. So I might have them there, I might have them here. Although, to be honest, with this detailing here on the front, I mean, again, you've got to love the chrome detailing there on the front, the Autobot symbol, the detailing on the side, the handles, etc. Everything's there. Part of me would have probably liked to have seen the windscreen wipers pulled out in maybe black, but I'm probably being particularly harsh now. But I think it's a really excellent version of Ironhide. I think it's lovely they managed to get that yellow stripe in there, finally. And again, I think this is a really nice iteration of Prowl. I don't have any issues with this, apart from me getting used to the transformation. I'm more than likely going to leave them in robot mode for the purposes of any sort of display. But they really do make a great pairing. And I think I really like that Hasbro are taking this rather unusual direction by going down this battle damage robots front. Because it does make you wonder what you'll see next. Personally, one of the things I'm looking forward to hearing revealed, and of course I have no inside information, this is purely something I want to be revealed, based on that Hasbro Pulse live cast where they said that they would try to get round to every figure, every character that appeared in the animated movie. Well, hurrah. I'm hoping that means that they give the Studio Series 86 treatment to the Constructicons. We've seen the fantastic work they did with the Stunticons. I know there were some complaints and some issues with some of the molds, but overall I think there was a pretty universal agreement that it was one of the best Stunticon release sets we've ever seen. And I'm hoping that what they've learnt from that because I'm assuming they learned from that, as well as the ever-improving engineering for the Studio Series 86 range, we'll see something amazing in terms of Devastator. So, you know, that's something I'm very, very optimistic that we may get, perhaps as the next run. Once the Dinobots have released their final member, Swoop, then I wonder if that would be the next thing we get, is the Constructicons. I don't know, but I would love it. I would love that to be the next sort of sub-series within the range for us to collect. So that was me taking a whistle-stop tour through this Buzzworthy Bumblebee Studio Series 86 Ironhide and Prowl. We have the mystery of the missing numbers. We have the mystery of how many other battered bots we're going to get in the future as redecos of their more healthier selves. And what's coming next? What are we going to see next? We know we've got a Ratchet coming. With this iteration, there isn't, because there isn't the translucent plastic, we don't have the translucent pods on the top there, which look like their own sort of sirens and flashing lights. So that again is a nice improvement here, but it does remind us that we are getting a Ratchet, which is heavily likely to be a retool of Ironhide, which is also a bit of a tribute to Generation 1, really, because Ironhide and Ratchet were curiously identical and curious in every sense of the word in their Generation 1 iterations. Not their animated iterations, their actual toy iterations. So, I'm going to leave this here. You've been a fantastic audience. Thank you for spending the last 20 or so minutes with me. I think this is a great set, so if you do get a chance to pick it up, do. If you're a Studio Series 86 collector, you might not want to double down on Ironhide, and I can understand that. And similarly, you may not want to double down on Prowl, because he's likely to be one of these other upcoming releases. However, I think this is a really nuanced set, and I think if you don't get it, somewhere down the line you may kick yourself and go, you know what, I wish I'd spent the money I could have spent then, because when I'm now trying to track it down, I suspect the secondary market will see the price for this elevate something quite considerably. That's my estimation. People may really hate it and not go for it whatsoever, and Hasbro may go, anything else we plan to do, we're not doing around this. I suspect that's not the case, but we shall see. Anyway, thanks again. As I say, if you liked the video and you found it useful, please hit the like button. And similarly, do please subscribe to the channel so you never miss a future video. If you're a fan of Transformers, which you probably are if you're looking at this, if you're a fan of Doctor Who, for Space 1999, Star Trek, Star Wars, G.I. Joe, things like that, and other stuff that randomly will pop up from time to time, then, you know, stick around, have a look around, see if there's anything else that takes your fancy. As I said, subscribe to the channel so you never miss an upcoming video. Anyway, I hope to see you in an upcoming video. In the meantime, take care. Thanks for sticking around. I've been the Time Travelling Toy Collector, and it just left for me to say that a thing or things of beauty really is a toy forever. Bye-bye for now.